start my recording. So it should be easy enough because we did this last class. So the first thing we want to do is multiply 5 times 7, which is 35. And that's, I want this one, 35. I'm going to carry my 3. 5 times 1 is just 5, plus that 3 gives me 8. And then I'm going to put my decimal. I only have one decimal point, so I'm going to move it right here. Is that what everyone got?
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to tell me what they got for number 2?
I can.
Okay, what'd you get?
19.6.
19.6. Susan, you can tell me what you get for number 3 when we get to it, okay? Because I saw your hand up too. So let's go ahead and check. So we have 8 times 4, which is what?
8 times 4 is 32.
32. So I put my 2 down there, carry my 3. 9 times 2 is going to be 16, plus that 3 is 19. I have one decimal. So it goes there. Alistair, do we see what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So we got to make sure we do our times tables the right way, right? Because you were just off by 1 digit. Okay. So, but good job anyway. You did the rest of it correctly. And Susan, what did you get for number 3?
14.850.
Type it in the chat. So I want to make sure I get it right. And Anibal, do you have a question for me, or are you going to put it in the chat?
I'm just gonna say that if I leave the meeting is because my Zoom today is lagging.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so Susan got 14.85 or 850. So let's go ahead and check. I have 5 times 8 is 40. I carry my 4. 5 times 9 is going to be 45 plus that 4. 49. That's going to give me 49. Then 5 times 1 is just 5 plus that 4 is 9. And then 5 times 0 is 0. And 5 times 0 again is 0. Now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to put my 0 down there. And I'm going to do my multiplication. So 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is going to be 63. So 63 plus 5 is going to give me 68. 7 times 1 is just 7. Plus that 6, it's going to give me 13. And then I do 7 times 0, which is just 0, but I have that 1, so it's going to give me a 1. And then the 0 right there. Now I'm going to add everything up. So I get 0. 9 plus 6 is going to be 15. Then I have 1 plus 9, which is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. Carry my 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then I have 1 plus 0, which is 1. And I'm going to put my 0 right there. So how many decimal places do I have in the whole problem? Well, let me count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to move my decimal. And I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to go with red. So my decimal starts all the way back here. We're going to move it over 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Susan, we were off by 1 decimal place. Do we see that? We've got to make sure that we count all the ones that are on the inside. Okay. Any questions on these first 3? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
Okay. So the last one says, use the product of 123 times 47 to find the product of 123 times 0.47. So to do that, I'm just going to multiply the first set, right? So I'm going to do 123 times 47. When I multiply 7 times 3 is going to give me 21. So I have to put the 1 down there, carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus that 2 gives me 16. And then 7 times 1 is just 7, right? But I had that 1 up there. So I need to make sure that I'm adding it. So 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 1 is 8, okay? I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to put my 0. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus that 1 is 9. And then 4 times 1 is just 4, okay? So I'm going to add them all up together, and I think I won't have enough room, so I'm going to do my addition over here on the other side. So 0 plus 1 is just 1. 6 plus 2 is 8. 9 plus 8 is going to be 17, and I'm going to carry my 1, and I have a 5. So 5,781 is 123 times 47. So I'm going to write up here. Now, if I want to put in the decimal, where am I going to put my decimal place to make this the correct answer for the other one? Who's going to tell me? Where should I put my decimal? You guys can write it in the chat if you want. So make sure that you count how many decimal places are in this second problem. I'll highlight it. So count how many decimal places are there and put in the decimal point where it should go in the 5,781 answer. All right, so I have, I'm gonna switch. 1, 2. I only have 2 numbers behind the decimal place. So when I put in my decimal, right, it starts at the back. 1, 2. So my answer is 57.81. If we guessed another answer, do we see why it is 57.81? Do we have any questions on number 4? So if you were, let's say you were taking your test, right? You're taking your test and you forgot how to put in your decimal places. What you can do, and it's pretty much what we have been doing, is you do your multiplication first and worry about the decimal at the end, right? So this question is basically asking you, how we are solving it. We're doing our basic multiplication first and worrying about the decimal at the end, okay? So make sure you count how many decimal places there are and move it that number, all right? Any questions on your bell ringer?
No.
No? All right, so today's lesson is, got stuck, multiplying decimals by decimals, all right? So it is basically the same thing, only now we're gonna have decimals in the top number and in the bottom number. But it's the same steps. Multiply everything all together and then worry about the decimal at the end. So first thing is I'm going to rewrite this problem so that it is 0.05 times 3.6. Why? Because I like to have the number that has the most little values on the top. Does it matter which order I do this in?
No.
No, it does not. All right. So I'm going to solve the first one. We're going to do 5 times 6, which is 30. So I carry my 3. 6 times 0 is just 0, so I'm going to then add 3. And then 6 times 0, again, is just 0. All right. Now I'm going to put in my 0 at the bottom. I'm going to change colors. And then 3 times 5 is 15. I carry my 1. 3 times 0 is 0, but I have that plus 1, so I'm going to put that 1 there. And then 0 again. Now I add it all up. going to give me 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1 and a 0 again. Now when I put in my decimal point, let me count. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 numbers behind a decimal in the whole problem. So I'm going to start off back here and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 0.18 or 0 and 18 hundredths. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right? I did everything that I needed to do. I made sure to put in my 0 here. I did my addition at the end and I moved my decimal the correct number of spaces. So that's pretty much it. So we're going to do the next one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 2 times 2, 4. Times 1 is just 2. And times 1 again is 2. And then 0 is the 0. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put in my 0 here at the bottom. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to carry my 1. 7 times 1 is still 7, but I have that 1, so it's going to turn into an 8. 7 times 1 is just 7, and then 7 times 0 is 0. Once again, I add everything up. 4 plus 0 is just 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 8 plus 2 is 10. I carry my 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, and then 0. Now, how many decimal places do I have in this one? Go ahead and put it in the chat. How many times should I move my decimal? So I see everyone saying 4, so let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to move my decimal place 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my answer, my final answer, 0.8064. Any questions on this one? All right, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to solve number 3 on your own. So I'll give you guys until 11:45. It shouldn't take you that long. It's a pretty simple one, but go ahead and try and solve it on your own. Did we finish the problem?
Yes.
All right, you can tell me what they got. You can type it in the chat if you don't want to say it. I'll write it up here in the corner. But no one will know who guessed what it is. Okay, I have a couple. I'll write both of them. And we'll see. So 0.0938, and I have a 0.08. Fine. All right. So now let's go ahead and solve it. So I don't forget. So starting off with the same steps, we're going to do that 4 times 7, which is going to be a 28. I carry my 2. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26. And I see another answer in the chat. I'm not going to ignore it. We will see what happens at the end. I do see that you guys are submitting your answers, so thank you for that. Now we have 4 times 0, which is just 0, but I have that plus 2. So I'm going to add 2. And then I have 4 times 0, which is just 0. Now I'm going to switch colors, put my 0. And this one is easy, right? Because it's just 1. 1 times everything is going to be the exact same. So 7, 6, 0, 0. Now I'm going to add it all up together. So I have my 8 down here at the bottom. Now I have 6 plus 7, which is going to be 13. I carry my 1. 6 plus 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. And then 0 plus 0 is just 0. And 0 again. So now I'm going to count my decimal places. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 this time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm starting back here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer is 0.0938. For those of you who did not get that answer, do we see what we did wrong?
Instead, I put a 2 instead of a 6 on the 268 to add. I put a 2.
Oh, like here?
Yes, I put a
You got to be careful. Remember, you always put the second number, and the one in the front goes to the other side. It carries over. Okay, just got it. Yeah, because you were pretty close. So you were close to your answer, but you got to make sure that you guys, when you're doing your multiplication, it's very easy to mess up. Okay, try to keep it like I don't know if you noticed, but I try to keep it as best as I can. I try to keep my numbers all in rows for you guys so you can see it easily. Okay, try to do the same for yourselves. Make sure they're in little rows. If you want to do the lines like I did when we were adding and subtracting, go ahead and do those, you know, whatever works, but make sure that you are looking in the same column, in the same places, and that your numbers are lining up, okay? So the last question we're going to do for today is a word problem, right? So a car can travel 28.45 miles. Remember, I want to circle or underline all my numbers that are in the question. Miles with 1 gallon of gas. The gasoline tank can hold 11.5 gallons. How many miles can this car travel on a full tank of gas? Now, if we didn't know any better, what operation would we say this problem is asking for? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division?
addition. No, multiplication.
What are we saying?
Multiplication.
It's multiplication, right? That's a hint. We're doing multiplying. So usually whatever we're doing is what's going to be having to be done. Now, the important thing is to note that it says, now, you might get confused thinking it might be subtraction because of that how many. But remember, it has to be how many more or how much more. It's not asking how many more miles can the car travel. It's saying how many total miles can the car travel with a full tank of gas, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do multiplication of which two numbers? Now this one's kind of obvious. Which ones are our two numbers? Sasha, I haven't heard from Sasha today. What are the two numbers we're multiplying?
So 28.45 and 11.5.
Correct. All right. So I already wrote it over on another slide because I realized yesterday that I did not have enough room for that problem and it was all over the place. So I want to make sure that I do it a lot neater this time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my simple multiplication, right? It's the same steps. I'm not doing anything different. 5 times 5 is still 25, and I carry my 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus those 2, 22. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 more is going to be 42. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 gives me 14. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my 0 and do the exact same thing, but this one is much easier because they're just ones. So 1 times all of these is going to be the exact same. It's going to still be 5. It's going to be 4, 8, and 2. All right, now the next one. What do I do next?
Add them together.
That's it?
No,
No, what am I missing?
the other one.
I have another one. So now, what do I have to do before I start multiplying?
Add a 0.
I have to add a 0. Just one?
2.
Yes. So every time you have an extra number, when you move down a row, you always need to add an extra 0 than the one before it. So in this case, I didn't have any zeros, so no zeros. Then I move down 1, so I have to, so plus 1, 0. I move the next one, I do another plus 1, 0. So if I had one more number here, how many zeros would I need to write in the fourth row?
3.
3, exactly. Okay. But luckily we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to do our 2 zeros. And once again, everything is a 1. So it's going to multiply everything exactly as it is. So 5, 4, 8, and 2. Now I add them all up together. Okay. I'm going to do my addition in a final color. Okay. 5 plus 0 is just 5. 5 plus 2, 7. And then I have 2 plus 4, which is 6. And then 6 plus 5, which is 11. I'm going to carry my 1. Let me fix my 1 so we don't get confused. Now in this case, remember when it comes to addition, your order does not matter. So what I would recommend is when you have more than 2 numbers that you're adding up, make it easier for yourself. Find something that you can do quickly and then add it up. So like, for example, when I see 8 plus 4, rather than doing 8 plus 4 and then 4 again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 plus 4, which is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. And then 16 plus 1 is just 17. You don't have to do it that way, but to me, that seems easier. So the next thing again, 8 plus 2 is easiest, so 8 plus 2 is just 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12. And I carry my 1. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So now how many decimal places am I going to move? Put it in the chat. So I see a lot of people putting in 3. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3. So I have to move my decimal 3 spots from back here. 1, 2, and 3. So the car can drive 327.175 miles on a full tank of gas. Any questions on that problem?
No.
No, we're all good? You
Yes.
guys can give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see that thumbs up. Awesome, awesome. So, a couple of things to go over. So the Khan Academy, after the horrific ordeal that my other periods went through, I went ahead and I enrolled all you guys with a username and password for Khan Academy. So all you have to do is go to the website, and you can actually either just Google Khan Academy, or you can go through your student portal. Either one works, okay? What you do is you're gonna click login, and I am going to post your usernames, okay? Everyone's password is the same password, okay? Try not to reset that password, because if you reset it, I won't know what it is. Right now I know what the password is because I made it, okay? So try not to reset the password. You all log on. You will have homework assignments. That was what your homework is today. It is 3 Khan Academy lessons, 1 video, and 2 assignments that have problems. Those problems, I think there's 7 in each, so a total of 14, okay? It's not too much as long as you don't put it off until next class, and then you have even more Khan Academy lessons to do. I'm not gonna give you guys any worksheets to submit to me this week, so it should be easy in regards to submissions, all right? So I will post that information up in Teams so you guys can find your username, sign in with your password, and then go ahead and do it that way. The other thing I want to talk about is turning in your homework. So I know not this week, but in the other weeks and the weeks to come, when we have homework assignments, there are 3 options to turn it in. Number 1 is the Dropbox, which I know a lot of you guys have been using. So what I do is I post the link in Teams, you click the button, upload your homework assignment, and that's it. I get it immediately, and there's no questions about what's going on with it, all right? I think that one is the easiest one, and that's the one I can best help you with, because there's no login required or anything like that. Just click the link, upload, done. As for Teams, I know there is a way you can submit your homework through Teams. I do not know exactly how to do that because I don't think I can see it the way you guys do. So I don't know where it is that you guys would click to submit the work. I know how to find the assignment after you have submitted it, but I don't know how you guys are supposed to submit it. So if you do know it, you can submit it that way. I will find it. And the last option is through email. So you can send me pictures to my email. I will see it. If you are worried that, let's say the homework was due on Saturday and it's Tuesday and I haven't put in your grade yet for that homework, do not worry. If I have seen it, then there's no problem. If I have not seen it, I will contact you if I have not received your homework. However, keep in mind that your homework is time-stamped. So even if I don't grade it until 2 weeks from the day it was due, I will know that you turned it in on time. Okay, so everything has a timestamp so I can see when you guys are turning in the homework. All right, please, I will still accept your homework from last week, this week. I know that these first few weeks have been difficult, so I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity. Also, if you have not done your flip grids, please do your flip grids. The last thing to talk about is Iready. So Iready testing, we are doing testing next week. This week you should be doing your English class. Next week is math, okay? So when we're doing our math, we are not learning anything new. We're just basically coming on to the Zoom meeting so I can watch you do Iready, okay? It is not an exciting time for me, as I'm sure it's not exciting for you guys, but we do need to do our best on the Iready testing, okay? Any questions on this that I just went over quickly?
No.
All right, so today, and I'm going to stop the recording because I don't need it.